Skyrim says Apple's M5 chip seems to have upgraded the base model GPU in a big way. With game porting toolkit and more native games than ever, is a base MacBook Pro now a pretty decent gaming laptop that also has amazing battery life and portability? Mr. Chowdhury's question: greetings, DF team. Apple has just joined the Game Awards advisory board. There's an advisory board?
I didn't know that.
Wow. And with its M5 processors is now pushing AAA support on Apple Silicon. At the same time, they're actively reshaping Apple Arcade. All of this begs a critical question. Is Apple serious about gaming now? That's the perennial question, isn't it? Do you see this as a symbolic PR move or a real shift in platform ambition? And are we genuinely on track to play GTA 6 on a future M-series iPad? Thanks as always for the great work. So, Oliver, you're our Macintosh man. Thoughts?
Mackin' man.
Yeah, I think Apple wants to be somewhere in gaming, but I don't know the extent to which they're aiming, that they're interested in gaming as it's currently constituted, or if they're more interested in it as a proving ground to create technologies for VR and XR devices. Obviously, we have the Vision Pro device. That is a big effort within Apple. You have rumors about XR devices, maybe some kind of Ray-Ban style glasses that you'd wear that have some kind of virtual display, have some XR capabilities, have cameras built into them that you'd wear in everyday life. Maybe there would be some games or interactive experiences that would run in that kind of headset. I don't think you can build a successful games business or a successful interactive media business necessarily on a VR or XR headset without a ton of work put into graphics APIs, without a ton of work put into new machine learning features. I think that's realistically what's needed, especially considering the limited power that's present on these devices. Mostly we're talking about mobile silicon, right? Even in the Vision Pro, which is very fast, we're still talking about an M5, which is not the most powerful hardware. Certainly VR hardware in the PC space is much more capable than that typically. I don't think they see as much of a future in other avenues for high-end gaming in the phones or in the Macs. And they seem to have hibernated their phone gaming ambitions for now. If you recall, back 2 years ago, there was a huge push into phone gaming with titles like Resident Evil 7, with titles like Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed Mirage, tons of games that were being ported over to mobile. That has slowed down to a trickle as far as I can tell. Those titles, which may have had some level of Apple sponsorship or Apple co-development, those have slowed to a crawl, have basically stopped at this point. In Mac gaming, that seems to still be kind of kicking up a little bit. Obviously, we had Cyberpunk earlier this year. They seem a little bit more interested in that market. But if you look at the size and the volume of titles that are being sold on Mac, that is a much smaller total addressable market than it would be on the phones. So you'd think the upside potential on the phones would be higher. Again, we've heard some reports that maybe the sales on those phone titles are not so high. So in either case, I think Apple's interest in gaming and their interest in gaming technologies is more about paving a pathway for the future than trying to get their hands in like the console market. It's not an Apple-like market. It's a low margin market. It's a selling hardware at a loss market. There are a million elements. It's an exclusives dominated market. There are a million reasons why Apple probably does not want to step into that in a really fulsome way. But there are also a million reasons why they don't want to have those technologies ready for the next generation of gaming experiences.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on the M5? Because it does seem to have had a big GPU upgrade.
Yeah, I've seen reports that different kinds of workloads, in ray tracing, it's massively faster. In traditional raster, it's like maybe 40%, 50% faster than the outgoing model, potentially, the outgoing M4 model. It is considerably faster. And then in machine learning operations, it has the Apple equivalent of the Tensor Core as well. It has some machine learning acceleration that's actually built into the graphics cores, not present as part of the neural engine. That's a separate component for more low power machine learning processing. So there's a massive increase in the capability of this device to do machine learning maths, which is quite interesting. And I'm definitely interested to see how that extends to the higher end products as well, especially as has been rumored, we might actually see more chiplet-based designs for the Max products, for the Ultra products potentially within the M5 lineup of chips. We might actually see chiplet-based designs as opposed to the old designs where you had a mix of monolithic chips and then two monolithic chips connected over an interposer for that Ultra design, which had some kind of not ideal scaling at times, I would say.